I know I do.
Well, you feel it because you're sitting next to me.
Fair enough.
Bocott driving, has it swatted away from behind by Brandon McGill. And Bocott comes out of there shaking his hand. Now, I don't know if that's an acting job to make the officials think that maybe he got hit on the hand, but there was an awful lot of ball on that because
I'm going to find out what the story is with those socks.
I'd appreciate that. Now Sally feeding Bocott, wraparound pass around Trueblood, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Bocott.
Only his second of the ball game.
This is when your shit starts to get sloppy.
Hart working his way around Jones, gets into the lane, gives it to Fortenberry. Fortenberry goes up. Nice little two-man game between Jones and Fortenberry. Now Colvin drives baseline, goes up, lays it in with the right hand. Nice move by Chris Colvin. 109-69.
What an offensive display here this afternoon by the Flex.
Trueblood fires. That was a long two. 109-71. Champaign leading St. Louis 50-33 in the franchise inaugural for the Swarm as Anthony Slack with a beautiful spin move baseline goes up with the right hand, can't get it to go.
Slack wanted that one to fall, brother.
Yeah, he did. Drew the foul on Fortenberry. That's his third. Slack with 13 points on the night. He had 18 points and 13 rebounds last week against the River Sharks.
It's been that tandem of he and Sally down low that in the first half really were causing some problems offensively for the Steam. Defensively, they were doing it together. And again, the luxury of the bench, of the Flex, they didn't have to play the whole game, but quietly, 14 points.
Sally hits on 1 of 2, but the rebound back tapped, and Sally ends up with it. Bocott behind the back dribble, gives it to Sally on the no-look drive underneath. Sally gets a shot blocked by Fortenberry, and Fortenberry yapping at the Flex bench, trailing by 40. Sally can't get the tip on the Xavier Jones miss. 4:05 to play. Now Terrell Williams giving it up to Trueblood. Back to Williams. Hart working his way around Colvin. And a foul on Chris Colvin. That's the first foul on the Arizona State product.
9 points for Mr. Colvin on the night. And again, talking about the luxury that Coach Wiley has with the Flex, he has utilized this bench tonight. Everybody's got a little bit of playing time, and that pays off somewhere down the road, getting that experience. And it's just a couple of nights that they have off, and they're back here again.
Thursday night, the Bloomington Flex will look for revenge against the St. Louis River Sharks. The River Sharks snapped a Flex 24-game win streak dating all the way back to May of 2013. May 18th when the Flex lost to the Sauk Valley Predators on the road in Sterling Rock Falls, Illinois. The average price of a gallon of gas in May of 2013 was $3.59 a gallon as Bocott gets to 30.
There it is. There it is, Mr. Bocott and his 30. Again, 2 straight games.
Justin leading the league in scoring. Now Fortenberry has his shot blocked. And Bocott running, he's got to beat Trueblood. He throws the alley-oop to Anthony Slack, and Slack misses the dunk. Slack misses the dunk. Now Fortenberry at the other end, bowls over Matt Sally, gets the shot to go, and they're just going to kind of let him play now, but you got to be careful here. You don't want it to get too out of control. Slack missed the dunk. He is going to hear about that one. He had an easy alley-oop. Colvin for 3 from the other end, and Colvin buries that one.
I was going to say he's going to hear about it from Bocott because Bocott was the one that set him up perfectly on that. And I'm sure Slack would be the first one to tell you it was placed in that right
Now a
mode.
beautiful drive at the other end by Lester Hart. 116.75. And now that's a great exchange. That is a great exchange between coach and player. Trey
Yes, it
Blue
is.
coming in. Trey's played basketball at some pretty high level. Seeing his first game action with the flex, Carnell Wiley putting him back in with 2.5 minutes to play in the game. A very, very, very large lead. And he says, hey, I'm not doing this to embarrass you. And Trey said, I need it. I need the playing time. I need it. And he says, good, I just want you to understand that, I'm not embarrassing you here.
I think Justin Bocot's night at the office is now going to be officially over with 2:31 left here in the ball game. Bocot going to check out with 30 points. Again, another fantastic performance. More than just the 30 points that he put up. I want to see his assist output, and he even had a number of rebounds as well. Wouldn't be surprised if he is close to a triple-double.
You might be right, my friend.
Always a good time at the flex games.
Now
Always.
Dance cam up on the Jumbotron.
So will they put the dance cam on you like they do the flex cam, or do they avoid you on the dance cam?
I think they avoid me on both. 55-39 over in Champaign. The Swarm starting to move away from the St. Louis River Sharks. Sharks come into that one 3-0. Champaign playing their inaugural game.
We've got an issue with the scoreboard.
And the scoreboard just went blank. Well, we know Bocot had 30, and the score was 116.75.
There it is.
Oh, there's your problem.
That controls the whole arena right now.
Assistant coach for the Flex, Mike Mokeski, set his clipboard on the power strip that powers the scorers table. If that McKeskey name sounds familiar to Flex fans and basketball fans in general as Brad Carroll hits, that's because Mike McKeskey is the older brother of former Flex player Brian McKeskey and the son of NBA player and D-League coach Paul McKeskey.
I think the
coaching up in Canada
McKeskey
now.
family is becoming a flex fixture here,
I think
so to speak.
Yeah. Had a chance to visit with Mike a little bit yesterday. He just flew in from Reno, and boy, were his arms tired.
Bada bing. Thank goodness he won't be performing all week, folks. You only have to put up with him for another 207.
just on Saturday or Thursday. True Blood hits the free throw. 118.76.
I take it that you're going to talk to the coach after the ball game. It will be interesting to hear his take on the continued intensity that the Flex tried to have here in the second half. Might have given up a little bit more than the coach probably feels comfortable with.
Blue trying the lob into Slack as they try to get a feel for each other. Couldn't quite make the connection. St. Louis, or rather Gateway, with a nice run at the other end. As Chris Babbitt scores. And now ball out of bounds.
Tighten it up. Tighten it up. Set it up. Set it up. Set it up.
1:43 left in the ball game, and it just seems like the second half has been a little bit longer than what that first half was.
Got a text message from former Flex assistant coach Tim Sack saying hello to you and me on the broadcast, and he says, hey, don't worry about mixing up Slack and Sally. I do the same thing. Bethea misses at the other end, a three-pointer, and scoop shot, no good, and Anthony Slack tried to go up for the two-hand jam, couldn't quite corral it, grabbed onto the rim with one hand and tried to slam it with the other, and he just about ripped the entire basket stanchion down. Trey Blue intercepts the inbound pass and goes up and lays it in. 120-79 now.
Nothing embarrassing about that by Mr. Blue.
Nice kill.
True Blood, left wing, working on Trey Blue. Puts up the three-pointer. Slack the rebound. Coming up on a minute to play, I think the Flex can safely say they're going to move to 1-1 on the season as Bethea misses
with
the open jumper.
As you mentioned, Craig, the opportunity to avenge that loss against the River Sharks here on Thursday night.
Now Sally at the other end goes up, and Sally couldn't quite get the hops at the end of the game to flush that one, but he still is able to flip it through. 122-79. At the other end, Babbitt scores. Everybody just kind of jogging their way up and down now as Brad Carroll accelerates. No look pass into the lane, gets tipped away, and Gateway's got it. Ahead to Chris Babbitt. He goes up with both hands. 122-83. And Darrell Robinson getting the high sign from Carnell Wiley, saying we're not going to take one here. And Darrell calls off the defense, and that's how this one is going to end. 122-83. The Flex move to 1-1 on the season. And when we come back, we will have a statistical recap at this one. We'll get a chance maybe to talk with Coach Wiley. We are back on the MPBA Broadcasting Network.
This is my son, Brett Finbloom, student athlete, community volunteer, college freshman. Ever heard of him? It was all there in his obituary. Brett died after just 2 hours of drinking. Not in a fall, not in a car crash. He drank too much, too fast. Brett died at a party from alcohol poisoning. Friends watched. A few tried to help, but no one called 911 until it was too late, afraid they'd be arrested for drinking.
If medical help is needed because of alcohol, call 911 immediately.
Stay until help arrives and cooperate.
Minors who call for medical care and assist police cannot be charged with underage drinking.
It's Indiana's Lifeline law. Make the call, get help, save a life.
Welcome back to U.S. Cellular Coliseum in Bloomington, Illinois, where the host Bloomington Flex in their 2015 home opener defeated the visiting Gateway Steam 122-83. The Flex moved to 1-1 on the season. Gateway falls to 1-3. Joining me now, the victorious head coach and earning his first coaching victory at the helm of the Bloomington Flex. That is Carnell Wiley Jr. Coach, congratulations on the first win.
Hey, I thank you very much, my man.
Checking up and down the stat sheet here, anything jump out at you besides Justin Bocot's 30 points?
You know what? I said beginning of the game I wanted to win the rebounding contest by 20. And with our bigs in there and everybody's thinking because they were small, I wanted to go ahead and that's where my emphasis were at this game.
Well, you won the rebounding battle by 18, so I don't know if they're going to have to do extra push-ups or gassers or something. It was 50-32 on the rebounding edge in favor of the Flex. You look back up and down the game track here. You took a 6-point lead in the first quarter and then went on a 28-0 run from the first quarter into the second quarter. What was the difference in that time when the teams were just kind of feeling each other out early in that first quarter, and all of a sudden you guys pressed the accelerator, gave up only one-shot opportunities, misses, turnovers, and they just went possession after possession without scoring?
That is absolutely a team effort, getting after it, taking care of business, and playing together. Wow. That's amazing.
How's the first win feel? I know going into the game last week at St. Louis down at Family Arena, your first game, the first game for the Flex in the new league. We had a moment to chat in the locker room while the guys were out shooting, and I said, how you feeling? You said, man, I am nervous. I feel like I want to throw up. Did those 747s go out of your stomach at all? I mean, you feel better now that you got the first win under the belt?
I do, but you know what? I hope those butterflies in my stomach don't ever stop. I think that's why we do what we do, and they're going to stay there. And if they're going to stay there and I keep doing this and playing like this, I'm fine.
All right, Coach Carmel Wiley Jr., thanks very much for joining us.
Appreciate it.
And
Thank you.
Congratulations on the first win. Flex moved to 1-1 on the season. When we come back, we will have a complete statistical recap. This is the MPBA Broadcasting Network. Welcome back to U.S. Cellular Coliseum. The Bloomington Flex moving to 1-1 on the season, winning their home opener 122-83 over the Gateway Steam. The Steam fall to 1-3 on the season. Taking a look at the statistics, the Flex 50 of 81 from the floor for 61%. Gateway 31 of 79 for 39%. From beyond the arc, the Flex 5 of 11 for 45%. Gateway 6 of 21 for 28%. From the line, the Flex still not great. 17 of 28 for 60%. Gateway at 15 of 23 for 65%. Flex with the rebounding edge, 50-32. Taking a look at some of the individual numbers. For the Gateway Steam, Curtis Mosley Jr., 15 points. Darian Anderson, 13. Mike Gills, 9. Chris Babbitt, 8. Brandon McGill, 7. Chad Fortenberry, Terrell Williams, Dimitri Riggs, each with 4. Jonathan Miller played but did not score. Not sure if I mentioned Brian Trueblood in there with 9 points. Leading rebounder for St. Louis was Darian Anderson. Call him Jake with 6 points. And for the Flex, he just came over and gave my partner a little fist bump, high five.
I've seen that performance before. Bocott, it's going to be interesting to see how he responds now 2 straight games. And that's the style of play that we're used to by Bocott.
Yeah, Bocott had 30 points on 10 of 13 shooting. He was 2 of 3 from beyond the arc, 5 of 7 from the line, 8 rebounds for Justin, and 3 assists, and 2 blocks as well.
Boy, it seems like he had a lot more than 3 assists.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did.
Chris Colvin, C.J. Hampton, and Anthony Slack each with 14 points. Fabian Harris with 12. Quincy Bethea with 4, Brad Carroll 6, Ray Miller 6, Matt Sally in double digits with 10. Trey Blue had 6 in his debut. Terrence Green had 5. Leading rebounder for the Flex, Anthony Slack, Matt Sally, and Justin Bocott each with 8 rebounds. Terrence Green added 6. The Flex had 7 blocked shots in that game. Gateway actually blocked 8 Flex shots. Fortenberry with 2, Trueblood with 2, and Darian Anderson each with 2 blocks. Leading assist man for the Flex, Anthony Slack with 4. And all those numbers, if they sound pretty impressive, they are. That adds up to a 122-83 victory for the Flex. For Bloomington, they host the St. Louis River Sharks this Thursday at U.S. Cellular Coliseum. The Gateway Steam following this one. We'll go to Champaign on Thursday to take on the Swarm at Parkland College. That game right now At the half, the Swarm leading the River Sharks by 19. That score is 64-43. Jim Ahart, some final thoughts.
Well, my final thought is that this is a great home opener for the Flex, especially with all the question marks that were up in the air. The Flex fans are happy. I think the coach is very happy. I think these players are very happy. When you can hold a team to 28 points in the first half, there is something to be said for that defensively. And I really think from a defensive standpoint, we knew the talent that was on this Flex team that can score points, but defensively, the clinic that they put on in the first half and really in the entire ball game, something to be said. Let's avenge that loss against the River Sharks on Thursday night. Let's get the folks out here to the Coliseum and back that Flex.
And what do the Steam have to do? They're down to 1-3 now. They've got some athletic ability. What do you see as
Here's the problem with the Steam. Unfortunately, they come off last night a very close game. I think a 1-point ball game last night in
might
Chicago.
have been a little fatigued.
No doubt about it. Then to come here, the banner ceremony, everything that the Flex had, that's awful hard to try to play. Now, give them a couple of days off, give them some rest that they need. They're going to bounce back. We've seen this team. They've got some talent on this Gateway team. It's just unfortunately they ran into a couple of hard days and a couple of hard opponents, and they'll bounce back, and they'll bounce back quickly.
Once again, the final score from U.S. Cellular Coliseum, the Flex beat the Steam 122-83. We are back here on the MPBA Broadcasting Network with a triple header on Thursday night as the Flex host the River Sharks.
And maybe someday it'll be a quadruple.
Maybe. Well, next year the plan is to go to 12 teams for the MPBA. The Windy City Groove and the Chicago Force tangle at the Kroc Center up in Chicago, and then the Gateway Steam take on the Champaign Swarm at 7:30 at Parkland College. For everybody at Sport Engine and Coaches Aid, ASBN, and my partner Jim Ahart, I'm Craig Fada saying so long from U.S. Cellular Coliseum. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, the Flex beat the Gateway Steam 122-83 on the MPBA Broadcasting Network. We will see you
at the games.